Man, straight up 7 o'clock tonight, guys.
Wow, that
I
took
mean,
some
without a
skill.
minute.
Yeah. Who's here right at seven
You know,
o'clock,
the
ready on time?
Floyd, JR, and James, they're over on YouTube, already
There we
got the
go. They're
hashtag
ready.
25K Crappie Connection. Eric's here as well. Guys, we definitely appreciate you guys coming in tonight. We're going to talk about break bait presentations and some different things that Dustin does that I do. And honestly, I feel like helps generate bites, especially in the summertime. I've been really noticing since last Tuesday night and trying some different presentations on fish. And we're going to talk about that tonight. Also, want to display the new hoodies.
Ooh, yeah.
They look
Yes,
good.
sir. They're looking dang good. I already placed my order. They're
Dustin,
looking good. That's all I had to see. I said, all right, what do we got to do?
they
Yeah, I love it. I love the camo for sure.
I've been really excited over these and was super happy that they got in on time. I told you guys last week that I had planned on being here this week, and you know they actually showed up on time, which is kind of crazy nowadays sometimes with shipping things. But I love them,
Yeah.
guys. Anybody local, if you want to pick one up, I'll meet you at the boat ramp or something like that while I'm out on the lake, and we can ship as well. They're $60 and whatever the shipping might be, and usually about $10 to ship them. So
Depending
definitely,
on what day.
depending on
It
what
might go it
I,
might go up from now.
but the weather's finally kind of starting to break a little bit. And how about you, Dustin? How's your weather been?
Man, we got a flood coming all over again, brother. I'm glad you mentioned it. We just had about 3 days of rain again, and it seems like we got a lot of current coming, and the water's going to muddy back up. So keeping me on my toes. I ain't got that real good like resting weather yet, but I'm ready for it. I promise you.
We've had a lot of rain over the last week. Since I think Friday, it seems like it's rained every morning or every afternoon. Even
Oh
today,
yeah.
we had about a 2 hour rain delay on the water. I had to go sit on the bridge for a little while and, you know, wait for the storms to roll through. And we went out
Oh
there
yeah.
and had a great day otherwise. But the wind seems to be starting to settle down. That, May's coming to an end. We're starting off in June, and the fishing's about to get really, really good, and it's been really, really good. I mean, for me here, it's just been, what a guy dreams for is you got clients that
Oh
come
yeah.
in and you put a lot of fish in the boat, and everybody leaves happy. I'm happy, they're happy. So it's the weather's starting to turn into that summertime pattern. And guys, if this is your really first year of crappie fishing, don't give it up now. This is the time of the
Yeah.
year that,
Yeah.
Dustin and myself and a lot of the other guys out there
Look
are
forward
going to
to.
tell you, even in the comments, that hey, this is the time that you can really enjoy crappie fishing. The fish
Yep.
bite; they seem to react really well. The ways to catch them's just enormous, and it's just a great time to crappie fish. So if you're first you're into it, make sure you stick around and get into this summertime crappie fishing.
I can agree to that for sure. Yeah, and we're always just a week or two behind you, so it makes sense. I mean, you're starting to get in. Are you still on the breeder stump pattern, or are you kind of switching things up a little bit?
Well, last week Tony Van Norman and he just commented. Actually, he said smoked them last Friday.
Oh yeah.
Breeder stumps were on fire. We did smoke them last Friday, and we were still catching some fish spawning on breeder stumps. But I see a little. That's kind of last today. I noticed that it's probably starting to dwindle down on that actual pattern.
Yeah.
Now they're getting
Hmm.
stumps and their own structure are really good, and I see some different things that's really starting to turning on. And the brush pile fishing's there, and the stumps, the structure, standing timber, pulling crankbaits, that's starting to really fire up to say. But love to hear some of your guys what you're doing. And first and foremost, I want to thank Bobby Garland Meats for putting on today's bite and putting up with Dustin and myself, and got a lot of new things
Absolutely.
coming out this summertime that I can't even wait to show you guys. And from new and updated colors on some of the baits that we all love. But and I'm really
To
excited
stuff you
about one of
couldn't
them that I can't
imagine. Yeah,
wait.
for sure. Bobby Garland's always coming up with something better. Even when you think there's no way to beat it, they keep topping it.
But Dustin, I'll let you kick it off with your actual today's bite fish report. What are you seeing up
Okay.
there, and where are you at? We had somebody say, "Where's Dustin really at?" Where are you at really
Yeah.
at, Dustin?
Hey,
Where do you
I'm on
live?
Grand Lake. Not 99% of the time I'm on Grand Lake. I run some special trips, other lakes north, and I'll go tournament fishing other lakes. I fished all kinds of lakes, but as far as guiding goes, I live closest to Grand Lake, and it's Grand Lake of the Cherokees is if when you look it up because there's a couple different Grand Lakes I've learned. So Grand Lake of the Cherokees, it's in Grove, Oklahoma, is this probably closest town, but that's the lake I'm fishing most of the time when I'm on here talking about fishing, unless I'm fishing a tournament or something. But the pattern we're on now, it seems to be changing every day. Tomorrow I'll probably have a different pattern. I was on the breeder stump thing just like you were, Brad, really strong and was doing really well. When the sun was out, it seemed like the bite was the best. And then we ran into all these rainy days. In the first few days of that front pushing in with the north wind, all my fish were gone. They just disappeared, and they were still in the area though. They just started roaming. So I had a good new client, Dallas. If you're watching this, buddy, uh, he hopped on. He said, "I'll be waiting for the Tuesday bite." So we actually jumped out. I went and checked my breeder stump style stuff, checked some structure. Just the fish were not there. There'd be like a couple, but not near what I was on. So I pulled off a little bit, and there they were roaming. They just were kind of scattered around, and there was just bait fish, balls of bait fish going everywhere. And the fish were just excited, going, moving like crazy. But we had that new current coming in from a couple big rains up north, so they pulled off the structure and started roaming, and we just went to chasing them. And when I say roaming, the fish were moving. I mean, it was like a mile to 2 mile per hour, and they're setting up. You know how they set up and they're just flopping, looking for shad. And I was telling them actually, it made me look like a real crappie specimen. Let me tell you, because I said a lot of times when they're this aggressive, because if you can get a bait in front of them when they're doing that, they're going to explode it. But I'm like, when they're this aggressive, sometimes you'll pull them up and they'll have that shad tail sticking out of their mouth because they're just gorging themselves. And it wasn't 30 minutes after I said that we caught almost a 2 pound crappie, and its mouth was huge. Big mouth, but just a solid body. Just you could tell it was a big old fish. It had the biggest shad I've ever seen, including Grenada shad in this
Oh, wow.
this. Oh yeah, yeah, in this crappie's mouth. If it wasn't 6 inches, it was bigger. I mean, it was a monster gizzard shad shoved in that thing's throat. And it was pretty cool to see, and it was crazy. We could not believe that it was still hungry enough to bite that bait after it just freshly ate a giant shad like that. But it was just we jumped on a pattern of just roaming fish that were really aggressive, and it was like one fish every 20, 30 yards. It wasn't like they were just piled in there. But the ones you found, it was 100% chance them things were gonna blow your bait plumb up. Color wise, live minnow, and man, I would go natural just because the water's clearer now. Was clearing up until now. Now it's going back muddy. Like I said, this was my last bite when I was out, but all this rain, I'll be switching up to white and chartreuse or going into muddier water baits. But as far as structure bite goes, I'd be pulling off of it now, chasing some Roman fish till the sun starts popping out again and we get some warm days, and it'll be right back to the structure bite. But for
What
now,
was your
water temp was 68 to 72. Right in that
water?
area. So yeah, it started out in the high 60s, and then by the time we're leaving, it's 70, 71 in that area. So we fished for about 3 hours to get our limits the last trip. So it started to warm up a little bit, but it's still cold. Like, I mean, I say cold.
Yeah.
Some of the females, Brad, you gotta answer this for me. They've got to still be spawning, because when we caught a male off of structure and it was already matte black off the structure, and then about
Yep.
three females we caught. I mean, the eggs were dumping out of them so good that it was just falling all over the boat and everything. And this is late May. I mean, almost into June, and they're still just dumping eggs out of them. So I was telling these
Yep.
guys for sure. I think that they're still spawning, doing their thing.
Yep.
Like some of them, that's the pattern we were on those fish for the day. But I don't think they're
Right.
completely done spawning. I think there's still fish to be caught shallow, just not on the bank like they normally are. They've just pulled off and are doing it. I don't know if they're
Yep.
just
Well,
getting used to that or what now, but there was not really ever a bank bite this year like there normally was. Everybody was giving reports that they just never did catch them on the bank like normal. So I'm guessing they're just getting smarter and maybe pulling off a little bit, or it was the water having all the current and everything different, fluctuating a lot, just makes them stay back and spawn. But yeah, that's our today's bite for now. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm gonna throw the trolling motor down, and start covering water, and see if the roamers are out again. And if not, I'll start pulling. But it's gonna be cloudy tomorrow, so I expect them to be out and feeding on them shad again. If you get out of the shad, you were getting out of the fish. So if your screen wasn't looking busy, it wasn't a good spot. You better get back to where you were seeing busy stuff going on. We got into a mixture of white bass, sand bass, whatever you guys call them, striper. Uh, we got in a mixture of those, which we don't have striper, but still just a bass style. We caught a couple of those on accident because they're all just feeding on the same thing.
Well, that sounds like you said, and it seems to be our pattern that Dustin's about 2 weeks behind whatever is going on down here, and it's
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think it's helped you even out to stay on things because I tell you, hey, this is what's going on here, and man, I
yeah, yeah. Oh, it
like
does.
that.
It helps me for sure. When you were talking about the breeder stumps, remember I said it was like a week later. I said, "Man, I went and checked the breeder stumps, and they're freaking on there." And it was about a week after you were talking about on them, so it's kind of how we roll here. I like it. Brad will tell me what they're doing before they're doing it here.
My little genie ball, I guess. I
Yeah,
got a
that's
great
right.
question. Got questions when it comes to crappie fishing, post them up here. We try our best, especially to get to these questions because this is what this show's about: is helping each other out and just growing the sport and by passing the knowledge on down to everybody. So if you got questions, we try our best to reach them this time. If we don't hit them this week, we'll I'm sure try to do it next week. But the question is, what is your rig for casting past and pulling through structure? Bell sinkers, jig sizes, and he says, "Thanks, Donald." But
That's a good
Dustin, go
question.
through your typical setup for casting past input, and that's part of the discussion actually tonight is about this presentation and
Yeah, yeah, that goes with
about
presentation.
your question.
Yeah, I would say
My rig.
casting wise. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, buddy. Okay,
Well,
so casting wise, I would be throwing instead of a bell sinker, I like throwing just a split shot, just a little split shot above a little jig. If you're watching your jig go, Brad has a killer casting setup, and 90% of the time I'd love to do that, but the stuff we're fishing is so woolly that if you're not like dragging it over the top, it's hard not to get hung in. So I kind of like just less hooks because we just get hung more. It seems like on the style, and he's casting a lot more. We like to get over the top of him and drop down. So but casting wise, I would try to keep away from real heavy weight, just slowly float it on them, and before you get to it, start reeling it up out of there. But yeah, as far as a weight setup, I love a little split shot so I can cast better. Like, cause when I'm casting like that, I'm usually throwing a small jig. So a little like I want to say number four, size four split shot is a go to for me to put above it.
and I think it variations a lot of different things. And Dustin kind of mentioned about that woolly brush piles, and we've got some of
Yeah,
those there that in the years past I always call those jig takers,
yeah,
because they're
that's
going to
right.
take a jig eventually.
Yep,
But if you fish a lot of brush, you definitely want to check out the brush off jigs. And what makes it special is it's the wire keeper that's on there. And this is a setup actually that I've got
yes,
the demo here, but that's the brush off, and you can see that stainless steel wire keeper
yep.
right above the eyelet, and that's just going to help you float above that brush as you come through there. But
And
this
I'll
is
be
the
using
setup,
and abusing those.
using and abusing. That's what they're there for.
Yep, that's right.
This was a setup that I used today, except for the colors, and I'm going to tell you about the colors. But today my setup was a 1/16 or a 1/8 as my. I guess you would consider it the top jig. It's not the bottom jig. This is the top jig, and I have it about 12 inches up above my bottom jig. And I don't use the split shot, and and I'm going to show you why or tell you why tonight. As this jig, especially a 1/8, if you're casting a 1/8 and you've got say like this is think this is a 1/30th right here. This is a 1/30th ounce
Oh yeah,
jig head.
that's what I
But you
like.
cast the jig out, this 1/8, it drops pretty fast, especially compared to a 1/30th. But what happens is I try to cast it down to this brush pile, and as this jig falls and I stop it and start doing my retrieve up, this bait's still coming down. And as it comes down, what really ate them alive today was this jig whirling back down. And it kind of slows down and falls. And this one's already got their attention because
Yeah,
it's sitting
and they'll
there.
smack it on that fall.
And all and this one just kind of does that lap over, fall over motion. And that fall over motion today, using a 1/30th and a 1/8, was really key. Uh, a great way to catch them. And we always talk about, the upwards retrieve, how important it is, and um, the different ways to present these baits. And I guess we can talk about this subject even a little bit more right now. But you know, and I get somebody in the boat and they cast out. First thing they do, they see the baits, they see them fall, they've got them coming, and typically they just want to bring it right through the fish, right, same level as those fish. For me, I think that one, crappie in the lakes, majority of the lakes anyway, they see shad all day long. They should see them all night long.
Oh yeah,
So they see them all the time. So you've got to do something different than what the baits fish is doing. And for me, this past week, it was two different ways to present the bait that I thought were really key. And I know a lot of guys that's fishing this MCC tournament. Hopefully, if you win it this week, props off to the Crappie
yeah,
Connection today's bite to help you out with it.
yeah. We better get a
Props
holla.
off if it does, but better get a holler. That's right. But two
Yeah,
different ways that I thought that really enticed fish more was dropping down on them, and literally I try to dive bomb them. I want these jigs just about to touch them, and then I'm gonna bring it up away from them. And then we switched over. Tony Van Norman, he commented earlier that he fished with me this past Friday, and we were on one stump, one brush pile. I can't recall which one it was, but and we caught 10 or 12 fish off this one piece of structure, and they kind of got used to that dropping down on them and retrieve up and up away from them. And I said, all right, we're going to do another presentation to them and see if we can entice more bites. I really didn't feel like the color was fading away, or as far as what they wanted as far as color. I thought it was the presentation. And you always hear this question asked a lot, what's most important in jigs? And for me, it's the presentation. Is going to be, presentation, profile, and then color. That's how I kind of think it goes in order in my mind,
absolutely.
at least. But the
Yeah,
next presentation that we wind up doing is, and a lot of people can overdo this when I tell you, as we're dropping it down, instead of bringing it up and away, I'm making it almost twerk. And that's kind of a dance phrase, I guess.
oh, oh, here we go. Twerk your
I want,
bait. That'll be a good shirt too. Have a jig twerking.
hey, I
Here
like
we
it.
go.
But I like baits to twerk. I want them to not jump up and down. I want them just to sit there and vibrate almost
Yeah. Oh yeah.
like a
Hmm.
twerk. So I take the
Yep.
rod and I just vibrate a little bit as I'm reeling. I won't ever stop reeling. I just want it to very much vibrate as I'm bringing it through there, twerking it. That
Oh
right
yeah.
there drove the fish absolutely crazy. Uh, Last Friday and today as well. You do one presentation, you'll catch a couple fish, and you say, "All right, there, we've caught the dumb ones, or we caught the educated ones." Change up your presentation, especially if you're in the fish and you feel like
Absolutely.
you've got the right color and profile down. Change up that presentation, and just like Tony and I did last week, we caught 10 or 12 by one presentation. Changed it up as those fish didn't like it. But
Yeah.
those other ones, once they seen that bait, and I'm gonna call it twerking it through the brush, or
Honestly,
twerking it
Brad,
past them.
I think you showing how to twerk the bait ain't really making sense. If you would actually just show us what twerking is, then I would
I did.
appreciate that. And I think everybody else needs to see kind of what twerking is. So if you would just stand up and show us real quick.
We can't afford to lose subscribers or viewers by doing that kind of thing. We lose
Oh
everybody
man, dude, hey,
so
it
we
is
can't.
worth. seeing the man twerk here. I just kind of need to see what you got going on with the twerk. But Mike
I
Martin, real
don't.
quick, does anyone make good boat brakes that are not on a power pole? And if so, who? Mike, Power Brakes is the first one to come to mind for me. Power Brakes have been tried and true, and they just flat out work. And they got all kinds of options for you. Some that go on power poles, some that go on uh, not power poles, but what are the other ones? Talons, some that go on just your boat. Whatever you want, they will make you a bracket for it and put brakes on for you. So that's a go-to guy. There's Power Brakes.
Yep. Chad Clifton. He's over in Oklahoma. A great guy, and I'll be glad if you message me and you need his contact. I'd be glad to give it to you. Great individual, made in USA, great product as well. Mr. Charles Henderson, he said, "What will it take to win the Magnolia Club Championship this week?" Charles, you're not the first
Woo.
person to ask me that, and I've got an opinion.
I guarantee you. Brad's got all kinds of friends this last couple days.
I, I think I think that you would stand really tall if not carrying trophies out at 13 pounds a day. So 26 pounds overall, I think I take it. Um,
5 fish
Post
or seven?
home, 7 fish.
Gotcha.
It's hard to find a one big fish pattern. I really haven't looked for just trophy style fish pattern. I think there's one out there for sure, but I think 13 pounds a day, 26 pounds overall would do it. I don't think it's
So in
take
other
nothing.
words, it's going to take 14 to 1420 a day.
Could be.
Yeah. I seen that hammer. You've been catching some big ones.
But seven of them is the key.
That is right. You're right. But you just fishing alone and guiding is a whole different program of trying to catch seven big ones.
It's a different
I think
game.
it's going to take 7 2-pounders each day.
They're
It's
out
got
there.
to be.
They're available,
They're
and I'm not
available.
available, but
They're in there.
I don't know. I think it's possible, but I think 13 pounds a day you would be standing pretty strong.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, D Mott finally starting having luck long line last week. Week prior was
Oh,
catching
awesome.
nothing. Long line is heating up now. Man, that's great to hear that success. Keep those coming, guys. We'd love to hear, what you guys are doing and how you catch them as well. I know we're going to have some fishing reports. Dustin Shields, he's been on the res. I actually had my alert set for when you showed up, Dustin, and it showed me that you did arrive last week on the res. So I knew you was here before you even got here.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, he was one step ahead there, and he
yeah,
blew a prop. I think he hit something or did something to his boat. I seen he lost a prop or an ear of a prop.
that could happen.
So hang in there,
Uh,
buddy. I hope you do good this weekend. Hopefully you're fishing it and didn't give up. Uh,
um,
go ahead.
I see a question about Hank Jr. He's asking, will I take him fishing next week? For all you guys that live around here, Hank's playing in town. I know next Friday night. Uh, I will not be taking him that Friday, so don't bombard me on the water if you see my boat.
Roy Harrison, he said, have you guys noticed the catfish taking over the brush at all? Water temp is 74. Roy,
Yep.
we don't really have that problem as much here. It's more like they don't really hang to structure as much as far as I've seen, but I know it can happen. I've seen it happen at other lakes, so I think it's a lake to lake thing for sure on that stuff.
I have seen a lot of catfish on structure as well, but kind of the kicker for me, and this might even play in effect on this tournament, is there's crappie still mixed in those stumps and brush piles that catfish are in. Those catfish haven't ran those fish out of there by no means. And
Yeah.
I think it comes back down to even some of those breeder stumps that probably have some fry and maybe some of those fish are still kind of protecting those last few nests available. But that's
Hmm.
kind of what I think is going on. One of the coolest things, and I don't know if it was last week before today's bite or not, all the days kind of run together, but
Yeah.
I'd seen something on the lake I'd never seen before. And had two clients in the boat, and I kind of looked to my right, and I was like, oh, looks like a gar rolling on the surface. And I kind of looked a little closer, and it was actually a catfish had another catfish in its mouth. And I'm talking, you know,
What?
I'm gonna say 8 to 10 pound catfish, and then had a 6 pound or
Hmm.
5 pound catfish inside its mouth. And I was
Wow,
like, oh,
they must be starting to spawn a little bit.
that's
That's what I guess.
that's what's going on for sure. And I was trying to get my phone out, and sure enough, as soon as I got my phone out, the
Broke
fish goes
loose.
under. Well, it just went underwater, and I turned around and watched it on live scope. I should have recorded on live scope,
Oh yeah.
but I could see them underwater still
Oh my gosh,
kissing.
that is crazy. That's crazy.
It
That
was
is
pretty
epic.
cool.
Yeah.
Got the Stephen Sullivan report. The countries are the world famous crappie fishing dentist
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
absolutely love. Is
Yeah. He was voted
gives great
the best crappie fishing dentist in the world.
in the world. I mean,
Yeah.
we've got the title
Nationwide.
already.
Yeah.
Uh, but caught them at Enid all weekend, suspended 17 to 19 foot of water, 12 to 16 foot deep, busted them on monkey milk and the crappie magnet ruse with a pink crappie slab bite. So he was adding a little bit of scent there, guys. Mr. Sullivan let out a little secret. He's letting out a little scent out there with them. Oh, let's see. Lost Viking, 37 keepers last Sunday on Bandit 300s and Picos in the Tennessee, I'm on maybe the Tennessee Shad Color or Tennessee River. I'm not sure where it caught them at, but 37 sounds like an Oklahoma number,
Yeah.
isn't
37
it?
is Oklahoma number. Yep. Yep.
So I would guess to
Some
be
lakes.
local. He was actually Cade actually fished with me today. That's we got out there and had a great day. Also down the water, learned a lot, going home and going to clean fish. He's got some fish to clean tonight too, folks.
Oh yeah. Yep, man, I appreciate all you guys' comments today. Everybody's really rock and rolling. They're getting excited for all these slabs that are starting to show up. Everybody's starting to enjoy them. Jeff Smith said, "Good evening, everyone. Water temps here are 70 to 72. Haven't been in a month. And where to start? Highland Reservoir is at full pour, pool, and a lot of rain here on East Tennessee. Man, where to start with 72? I've still got to go to some structure. If you're that warm, I'd be going to look at some structure, and then depending on the water clarity would be how deep I'd be going. So if it's
Very
muddy water, I'd start a little shallower, and if it's clear water, I'd be going a little bit deeper. So I hope that helps somewhat. And I'd be pushing on flats that are somewhat close to the channel. Just kind of pull up off the flats. They just got done doing their thing, and they're kind of headed back to summer pattern, but not quite there yet. That's my best little analysis there.
I think you could find some scenarios that's those late breeder stumps, and
Hmm.
that'll probably be first to tell you he didn't really believe in the breeder stumps a couple of years ago, or didn't
Yeah,
even know about them.
that's right. You're
But
right.
it could be stump action still there for you as well, Jeff. So if you got any key pieces of structure in your lake,
Structure.
I would
Yeah.
check those out. But for me, fish are starting to really relate to structure more by the hour, by the minute, and they have been the last 2 or 3 weeks here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And then Robbie Webb, he said, caught them on Enid, 12 to 15 foot of water. The fish were around 6 to 10 foot deep. Caught most of them on crappie magnet, orange, and chartreuse. It's a good color there. Robbie, thanks for the fishing report. 12 to 15 foot of water seems like all of our depths lately. That's a killer depth.
Same here. Right now, guys, we're at 125 likes, thumbs up between the two platforms. So do us a huge favor. Take 1 second, make sure you hit that thumbs up for us. Got any kind of questions? Uh,
Ta-da.
hey, shoot them out here. We'd love to hear them, and
Yep.
love to talk to them a
Um,
little bit.
Jerry Vining, he said, "Is there a good fishing around Timber Lake campground on the Riz?" I'm wondering if he's meant the Res,
Yeah,
possibly.
uh,
Hmm.
I know Timber Lake Campground. That's at the southern part of the lake. Um, Jerry, for me, I would go about 2 miles north and really dig in at that point and keep going north. Uh, and you think about a big reservoir, and I think even Cade and I talked about it today on our trip. these big reservoirs, whenever they build them and they make these dams, the first place they're going to get their dirt from is where the bottom of the lake right there next to them. So more than likely, they bulldozed most of that area down and cleared it as they were actually building that reservoir. Just like the res, there's not a lot of structure on that lower end. There is a little bit, but you got to find it down there, and it takes a lot of know-how and time to
Mm-hmm.
find that south end. But 2 miles north, all the way up to the 43 Bridge and Pass, is where you really want to concentrate. I would suggest for you, Jerry.
Man, there you go. Jerry, he just saved you lots of hours and time right there. Larry Jones, he said, Brad, where do you go to see the colors and sizes available for the new hoodie?
Oh well, you can
You
message
go to his
me
cell
on.
phone number. Yeah.
Well, that it's out there. It's not so secret, but um, you know, we don't have them online anywhere at this point. I didn't go crazy or order them just because you got the new tariffs and all that kind of political stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we've got a very limited number of these, but message me on Facebook, Crappie Connection, or you can shoot us an email, crappieconnection@gmail.com. And we range from medium to 2X right now. I might have a couple of 3X in the dark black colors, but we've got this color, and the next week I'll wear the next color. But we got a blue and a dark. I guess it's a black camo, just like this one. All of them have the same logo placements on the sleeves and stuff. But great hoodies. I don't think you'll be disappointed. Mr. Pat, come on in here, Pat Robbins. Keith, appreciate you guys joining us.
Jeremy Sanders, he said, a hint, the crappie on Kentucky Lake north of Paris Landing area are smoking the little Bobby Garland mayfly jigs on the mayfly color. It hurts to give this out, but I owe your followers a hint. Thanks, guys. Oh, he's giving a little crappie tidbit there. Jeremy, I appreciate it, buddy. I know how hard it is to give those hints. I'm telling you, it takes a lot of a fishing man to give you them hints. And there's a lot of hints I've fought myself off. I mean, I almost have given way too many hints. You know, Brad gets all the best ones out of you. It's hard. So you got to keep some to yourself, Jeremy, but I appreciate that one. We're thankful for every hint we get.
You know how much Dustin's given up over the last, was it two
Oh,
years now, I guess?
maybe three. I
It's,
don't
you
know.
know, at first I was like, I don't know if I want to tell
Yeah,
him that.
yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah,
come
yeah,
on,
yeah.
spill it.
Yeah, I know. I
So
know.
he's around.
But yeah. There's a few things though that you got to keep in the bank because that's what at the end of the day keeps you on top of them. You know, I always strive to if someone's fishing a brush pile in front of me, I think I can go to after that brush pile after they've given up and there's not a fish biting, you can go there and pull fish out. But if you told everybody those secrets, you wouldn't be able to go up there and pull fish out, Brad. So how do you figure that out? Good question,
Yeah.
Real good question.
I was actually reading some comments, so you kind of got me.
Oh wow, wow, Brad. I asked the best question yet. So listen to me one more time here.
Okay, let me pay attention.
When you're given it, if you give too many secrets, then I said I strive on if someone fishes a brush pile out and they're done with it, the fish stop biting and they leave, you can go up behind them and you're confident you're going to catch a few more fish off of it doing something different. But if you give too many tidbits out, then everybody's going to know and you won't be able to pull no more fish out of the brush.
I mean, that could be true in some
Yeah,
circumstances, sure. I mean,
that's right.
but it's only
On a
good
pressured lake.
that people that
Yeah,
watch today's
yeah,
biting
you're right.
podcast. So it's not
Yeah.
everybody out there yet.
I'm starting to learn more people's watching than we think that there is. Shout out to my man Dallas.
Jerry Kurtz said the big guys were talking trash. I think talking about you, Dustin, talking trash about the Reds. Yeah, I've seen some of that. I think that it's just kind of like a love hate relationship. It's kind of like that really pretty girl that you asked out on a date and she turned you down a couple times. That's
Uh-huh.
been the Reds of those guys.
Yeah,
She's like
yeah.
that hot chick that's turned them down a couple times.
I've
That's
heard
been the
I've heard some trash talking going on the res lately too on Facebook, just being
that's
being a
it.
terrible lake. And hey, but here's the thing. People talk about Grand the same exact way, but I say if you can learn how to fish Grand, you can learn how to fish them all, and that's how Rez probably is. But hey, Brad's had no problem stacking that boat full of fish, so you tournament guys have no excuse. That's what Brad said anyway.
None. Uh,
Dustin Shields said he's hoping for 13 for 2 day total.
oh, whatever.
The
If he
Rez
comes
is
in with
tearing
13,
people up. Yeah.
oh my gosh. If he comes in with 13 for 2 days, we'll have to shave his head.
Oh, I'm in on that. I'm in, and we'll have him on here actually. You know what? We
Yeah,
need to do a tournament recap. Dustin Shields being such a good follower, we ought to have tournament recap with him
we'll
on
do.
it after the championship. Dustin Shields, I know you ain't doing nothing, so you can hop on here on Tuesday night, give us the tournament
Yeah,
recap, buddy. That'd be great. I think he guides
uh,
on Grenada a lot.
yeah, the big three up north Mississippi.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, Donald, I see your question. He said a 1/8 on top and bottom of 1/30th in the brush off series. Yes,
Oh yeah.
sometimes it depends on the depth of the water and the speed. Just pay attention. If you speed it up more, you can go to a bigger size. Just start paying attention to jig sizes on how these fish react, on how
Yeah,
you're presenting them to them. You know,
exactly.
if it you know, if they want it a bit slower, move that from that 1/8, move it down to a 1/16. That's why there's so many jig sizes because you can really fine tune them. It's kind of like shooting a rifle. Uh, every bullet's not going to fire the same. Brand wise and weights, and that's the same thing with jig head sizes. These jigs fall at different rates. They need to be retrieved at different rates, whether you're casting or dropping dead, sticking down on top of them. But kind of play with that and just fine tune whatever working for that day. Just don't, live and die by one size.
Right. That's a good little tidbit there too. Um, let's see here. Charles Henderson said, "Brad, please do a side scan video. I need some tutoring on how it's done." And then on top of
Yep.
that, Brad Harding said, "Which side scan do y'all prefer, a Hummingbird or a Garmin?" Man, the best side scan, one of the best side scans I've used and seen. Hummingbird's good, but I love Lowrance. I'm telling you, Lowrance has a really good side scan. My very first boat had a Lowrance, and I could read that side scan the best out of any of them. I don't know if I just got it dialed just right or what, but that side scan was really good.
Yeah, I used Lowrance for years on the side scan and down image, and you'll hear different guys that prefer one or the other. Garmin's side scan is nothing to sneeze at. It is really
Yeah,
crisp. It is
I
clear.
agree.
And it takes a little fine tuning, but the biggest
Mm-hmm.
tip I give you on side scanning and really understanding it is imagine you're going through the woods at night and you're holding two flashlights, one on your right, one on your left.
Exactly.
And as you're walking through those woods, fields, or whatever you can imagine in the dark, anything that sticks up, let's say like this can here, this would be a treetop, and I'm coming past it, and I can't hardly do this, and I'm going right this way, and it hits this beam, it's going to be bright right here, like a flashlight would be. This would be the bright side because that beam's hitting this side. On this back side here is casting a shadow. So imagine it as two flashlights out the side of your boats that's being recorded. When you come
Exactly.
by the something sticking up, it's going to be bright and it's going to be dark.
And then going off of Brad's two flashlights walking, now picture you're 10 foot above Brad looking down, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you're looking down at you with the flashlights out. That would help a little bit. That's where you're at.
Yep. Everything's recorded in the past with you as well. Um, let's see. I'm coming down through the list. I know I'm running behind, but got questions? Post them
Um,
on here, guys. We'll be glad to help you out. Definitely. 165. We're going to try our darnest to get to 200 likes tonight.
oh yeah,
Um,
we're gonna get it.
I know we're going to help
Richard
you
Crawford.
guys.
Richard Crawford. He's my man. You remember him, Brad? You met him at the boat ramp out there
Yep.
at Grand. He said, lots of days I swear there's hardly any fish in Grand Lake, and Dustin will send me pictures of 45 to 60, depending on how many guys he had in his boat. Talk to myself all the way back to the boat ramp. Me and Richard talk a lot lately. We're always texting back and forth fishing reports, and he does help me out more than he thinks he does. But I'm always asking him what he's on. He's my little scouter. He's running around always checking fish. But that's my
That's
Grand Lake buddy there. Richard, have you left yet to Montana, or are you still hanging around? You got a couple days to fish.
love to tonight. Guys, if you could take a minute, and then this would be pretty neat and might be help you guys even network. If you're watching, listening, and it can be even the next day after this live broadcast here, post up your home lake. We'd love to see where you guys are from. Just kind of give us an idea that say, hey, it's another guy that watches today's bite fishing Wren Lake or whatever, and you can kind of network and pay attention to his reports when they post them. So if y'all could just do us a quick favor and post up what lake is your home lake in the comments. We'd love to see that. I know I got some comments, questions as well,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
that'd be pretty cool to see.
Guys,
Richard,
thanks for all the comments tonight for sure as well.
Richard, he's asking, explain breeder stumps versus regular stumps or vertical structure, and are they the same? Heard you refer to them all in other videos, but need some clarification.
Good question.
Um, Very good question. And breeder stumps for me is at the very end of the zone, and it's kind of the latter end stage of things, but it's very key pieces of structure that I think those few fish that haven't quite finished yet, they really concentrate on. For me, typically it's big cypress stumps in our lake. It's stumps that have just, if you would draw a picture of an ideal stump, this is it. And these are the last fish are just trying to finish up the spawn on these very key pieces of structure. And they're not always all over the lake. And I wish I had 50 of them on the.
Oh man, that's what I was about to just say. I wish I had rows and rows of them, but there's certain ones that have something about them that we don't know, but the
Yeah,
fish do. The fish will know. Because Brad, have you ever seen that stump caught a ton of fish off them, and you look 30 foot over, there's the same stump but no fish?
I
Like,
think it's,
explain that.
it's just the very best stumps in an area
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
those like, and for me, every year I can go back to these breeder stumps and they're going to produce this time of year. And they're really in our lake, there's different locations of throughout the lake of these breeder stumps. They're not all in the north end. They're not all in the middle. There's some here and there's some there, but just very key pieces of stumps at the very end of the spawn that the fish tend to finish up when it
Yeah.
comes to spawning. Maybe that's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty good. Torch Tyndall, how's it going, buddy? He said, "How's it going, fellas?" Zach Minix, how are you, buddy? Oh man, yeah. Buckeye Lake, Ohio. Craig Becker. Watts Bar Lake. Jess King, you got all kinds of lakes coming in, Brad.
Good.
Nickajack,
That's what we want.
Tennessee. I'm liking all these. David Bragg, thanks for the comment, buddy. You guys are really keeping me on my toes on trying to spell words. I mean, it's brutal. Me and Brad are far from book smart over here, guys.
Yeah, fisherman, man. I'm a fisherman.
Exactly. Nantachi, Central Illinois. Hey, we got a Grand Lake of the Cherokees guy here, Warren Brumley. Another old Grand
Do you
Lake
know
crappie
Warren?
slayer. Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so
I've been fishing with Warren. Yep.
that's
Oh yeah. And Warren, I just took your cousin actually, Randy, out here not too long. I asked him. I said, "Do you know a Warren Brumley?" He said, "Yeah, that's my cousin. We fished before." That's the last fishing report I was just telling about, Warren. Chasing them roamers around.
Mr. Torch. He said he's been catching them good on Eagle Lake, and I would,
Ooh,
Torch.
I've heard that.
He's going to be either pulling crankbaits or he's going to be pulling some jigs. I would be willing to bet he's pulling something over there at Eagle Lake.
Uh-huh. Eagle Lake seems like a good pooling lake, but I've seen a couple comments about Eagle Lake being on fire lately. It might just be going good. Okatibbe, Bill Anderson.
Mr. Hancock's here. What's up, Jerry Hancock?
Oh, Jerry. That's a Oh, Jerry Hancock. I've learned a lot of stuff from him. He don't know it, but I've had some clients from him one time that now this is a good story, Brad. You're gonna love this one. So I love
Uh,
taking clients that's been fishing with other legends. You know what I'm saying? Like Jerry Hancock's one of them. Oh, I woke the boy up. He's all mad, but uh I had a client and we had fish that were kind of picky. And he said, Jerry had us doing this. And if we didn't do this, the fish would not bite at all. I said, really? I said, well, let's try it. Started wrecking them. So shout out to Jerry. I appreciate the tidbits, brother. You just don't know you gave them to me.
uh, James, great question. He said, "Is there a way to keep head shakes from losing fish at the surface long polling
Man.
while giving up slack? Swing them in the boat fast, or keep them under the surface until they are tire a little more." First off, they're big enough to shake their head like that. You need a net. A net will save you a lot of fish. For me, as soon as a fish hits the surface, especially when I'm getting at them, you know, otherwise, as fast as you can get them in the boat, the better. If you're casting them in, I don't try to play the fish. I don't try to let the fish run down or anything like that. If I'm casting, as soon as I hook that fish, I'm trying to get him in the boat. So the faster, the better, and
Yeah.
invest in a good net as well.
Keep that pressure. Yeah, net helps big time, and keeping pressure on that fish helps a lot. But at the same time, it is crappie fishing at the end of the day. They have soft mouths. You're going to lose some fish. I had some days it's like it's Brad. I'm sure you've been there. It's like no matter what you can do, you just cannot keep them hooked. And then some days you can't get the hook out of them if you wanted to. So it's just all about the day sometimes too. If you got a soft bite, you're going to lose a bunch of fish. It's just part of it. So just try your best. Good net
Yeah, I
does
love
help though,
seeing
because if you can see them, then you can net them.
all these lakes coming up. I got a lot of my res folks chiming in here. I definitely appreciate that. I love seeing those res guys not
I'm
digging
gonna.
at you.
Yeah, whatever. Uh, Trey Phillips, I'm gonna. He said, "What's a tip on Bobby Garland itty bits not tearing up, going through them like hotcakes?" Trey, I would say the right hook goes a long ways, and a little bit of super glue if you were really wanting to keep them. That's the good part about them not being too pricey. Is I go through them like crazy as well, but I mean, I would say I catch 5 to 10 fish on each one pretty easily, sometimes more. And in the, I guess I don't have to have it set in just perfect though, or I would probably go through more. But super glue goes a long ways with them boogers. If you wanted to just put a little dab on there and shove it up to your neck. Another thing I've done is I've taken the necks off of those. Well, just use those 32nd ounce or 30th ounce, I believe, Brad, the ones you were just showing. If you use those hooks, they seem to last a lot longer for me as well. If you put a dab of super glue or and shove them up there, you would really keep them on longer. But if you put them on a 16th, I've noticed they tear up a little easier.
That's the brush head, and and I'm gonna show you one actually on this body as well. It seems to really secure them. Now, if you change baits, it's probably game over because it shoves them
Yeah,
up on
yeah,
there
you
so
get one
well.
shot.
It's,
Yeah,
it's not made to change colors a whole lot,
yeah. Jerry
but I
Hancock's, he
think
said, I super glue on them
once you
or
start
them on.
shoving, yeah, super glue helps a lot when it comes out. It keeps them from sliding back and forth. Uh, you know, small no collar jig heads as well do really well with them. Something that doesn't have a big wire keeper to rip them apart, or something. If you're gonna have one with a wire keeper, have it one that actually secures them really well up on it, so it doesn't slide back and forth. And the great thing about plastics, and everybody's conversation comes up to what's better, live bait or artificial bait. And for me is if I use 2 packs, and I think today I used 1 pack of baits, and we had 60 keepers, and probably threw back. And Cade fished for me today. He commented earlier. He'll testify. We used 1 pack of baits today and caught well over, I'm gonna say 80 fish off of 1 pack of baits. You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, yeah. I've been on the same thing as like a lot of people saying how soft. I've caught several limits with the bait before. I know that sounds crazy, but I've caught over 20 fish off of one jig before several times. So, heck, I mean, it just depends on how good a fish you're catching and how many you get to catch, I guess. I mean, if you're in Oklahoma, it's 37 a person, you're going to go through a few plastics, but Carl Deerman, there's another Grand Lake guide. Just a little shout out to you, Brad. He asked how the Grand Lake crappie are doing. Carl, they were doing great, but this water coming in, it's going to change them up a little bit. But I could see the fishing still being great. I like that we finally got warmer water, so it's not going to just really zap them like it did back in the earlier spring. I
Yeah.
think we're going to be good. You're going to have some aggressive fish with that rising water. Yeah, Stephen
Jeff,
King.
he's asking, are big crappie typically alone? Um, I'm gonna say big crappie are typically in the best locations when it comes to structure. So if other fish join them, I think it's fine. But if you find a lot of fish on, say, a stump or brush pile, typically they're on the very best piece of it. And some pieces of structure don't hold a lot of fish, so they could sit alone. I don't know if
Yeah.
that answers your question all the way, but it kind of can go. Uh, the biggest fish that we caught today was on a brush pile that had probably 40 fish on it,
There
and
you
it was the
go.
biggest fish we caught all day, and it was with a bunch of other fish. So they're in the very best spot on any size
Yeah.
structure.
Yep. Randall Pedrick, he asked a good question. Do you guys mold your own jig heads, or do you have someone make them for you, or you purchase them from a local bait shop? Randall, I get all my jig heads and plastics from lurenet.com. You'll have a little bit of everything there, but that's where I get most of all my stuff. But that they'll have all those brush off jigs he's talking about. They'll have the normal jig heads. They'll have 30th, 24th ounce, all the way up to 8th ounce. They've got everything jig head wise on lureneck.com. So shout out to the Bobby Garland guys. If you use Crappie Connection 15, it gets you 15% off of an order there. So you're going to save on the jig heads as well.
Maybe that link will show up there for you too. I think it should in the comments. Uh, so this link right here is sending you actually straight to these brush off jig heads that I just
Yeah,
posted on there. Dustin
perfect.
just told you the code as well, but that's the brush off jig.
Yep.
Another jig that I caught them on today that I'm very proud of, jig head wise, and the
Oh,
old
yeah.
head
The
turner
head
caught
turner. Yep.
it.
Those are
I,
there
I,
too.
I took a picture of a head turner sticking out of a fish's mouth. It's so cool with that bait too. It actually turns their head once they see this bait. You
Oh,
can see
yeah, they do. They'll turn a
turning.
90 degree.
It
That's
is so
right.
cool.
It's a good name for it. Warren Brumley, he said, I'm still catching roamers as of today. They have not slowed down for me. 10 to 20 foot of water, minnow color plastics, and hand tie minnow jig, 30-second. Warren, I'm going to need locations, buddy. You're going to have to. That's another Grand Lake pal.
I mean, that shows you this picture was, you'll get a lot of different things on the internet, but you
Oh,
can
yeah.
look on my screen
Today.
today, Ross Reservoir. That tells you
There
that
we
it
go.
worked today.
There you go. The man ain't lying. That
Ain't
wasn't a fishing story. Trent Goss, he said the weight will be around 13 pounds a day will win that tournament. He thinks, in his opinion.
he's
I'm
a
on the 14 pound feeling, but he thinks 13 is more realistic. And he
I
may
think
know more, a little bit more than me about the Ross Barnett, but I don't know why.
13 would
Dustin
be up
Shields, it actually does. He said, "Does Crappie Connection 15 work on the hoodies?"
there.
You darn right, buddy. If you win the tournament this weekend, free hoodie. There you go, buddy.
Free hook. There
Free
you go.
hoodie.
I'll
Yep.
make sure you get Dustin's real quick.
Yeah. Hey, whoa, whoa.
I was wondering if you got that.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anthony Richardson, learning how to use side scan. I will take a fine structure with my live scope and then go back and read it with my side scan and see what it looks like on side scan. And that's actually a really good tip. So what he's saying is if he sees a piece of structure on the side scan, he's going to drop down his live scope and say, "All right, this is what it looks. I know this is
Yeah,
what it looks like
gotcha.
live scope," and verify it. Will come back over the top of it again. Just reference them back to each other and get an idea of what you're seeing on the water. But go to some more uh, bridge palins, channel markers, something that's coming up above the water. See how it looks, and then go to a well-known or a known brush pile that and go over it and look at it a couple of different ways and see how it's sticking up off the bottom. That way, you can kind of really. Uh,
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm gonna remove that. There you go. But that's a great tip to give as well. Appreciate that tip, Anthony.
Dustin Shields said, "I guess I'll be buying one."
Oh,
Oh
now
man.
that's
Yeah, that ain't the positivity. Hey, with that, you might as well just stay home, Dustin. If you ain't thinking you're going to win it, you just stay home, buddy. Go get you some of it. Stephen King, he said Christmas trees work for the best cover for him.
mm.
Stephen, those brush off jigs are perfect for Christmas trees. You can drop them right in the middle of it and crawl them out of there. But those Christmas trees are tough to fish if you ain't got something weedless on it.
Yeah. I think my 2 day prediction is 26 pounds. Of course, it could go over that as well, but I would be very happy coming in with 26 pounds at the end of the 2 day tournament on the rest.
Yeah.
Kent Driscoll, here's a good report. Smash on Priest today, 18 to 22 foot of water, 20 to 30 foot 20 to 30 foot of water. 164th ounce Popeye jig slab bite was a ticket. He's using some scent there, guys.
Uh huh. That scent can work. Carl Dearman, he said, is it better to cast to them crappie or vertical fish to them? Carl, right now on Grand Lake, both work just as good. So whichever's easier for you will be the ticket, no doubt. Whatever easiest you can do. Because if you're fishing from a dock and you think they're under it, I would vertical fish them, no problem. You don't have to cast to them.
James, I totally agree with you. I definitely think we need some head turners and the brush off in orange. Personal favorite orange jig heads for sure. So maybe
Oh,
it's
yeah.
somebody might be listen to that. Hint, hint.
Yeah.
Same thing, Carl. Cast to them or vertically, and I think it comes down to fishing pressure and really still water. I like staying away from them as far as I can. I like to uh, cast to them. Not saying that you can't go up there and catch them with a long pole, by no means, but it definitely is a good way to get out there and uh, experiment what's working best on the body of water you're at.
Charles Henderson says the hammer will have 32 pounds. Charles, you're not a gambling man, are you?
Yeah.
You're not into the gambling, are you? That's a big old weight. Certain times
I,
a year, though, it's probably possible.
oh yeah, a
Yeah.
month and a half ago, be for
Hmm.
sure. All right, Jeff. He said, if you're going for a personal best, what would you look for this time of year? Water temp 75 to 80 degrees. Ooh, for me, it would be a very key piece of structure, and it would be something laying on a 45-degree angle.
That would be it.
That would be it. It'd be some
Yeah.
kind of structure with a 45. And I think of that piece of structure, um, you know, why would be that kind of structure? And for me, it's just the ideal spot for a crappie, a big crappie to sit, something sitting at a 45. Just what I've seen, I would look for something on 45 degree. What about you, Dustin? If you're looking
I
for your
love it.
personal
I was gonna say
suspended,
I love exactly what you're saying. And if the water is that warm, I'm going somewhere shallow, and I'm looking for exactly what you're talking about. Some type of lay down structure. And I'm going to look for like very few fish on it. If it's a lot of fish, it's a little struggle. I would like to see like 3 or 4 fish sitting there, and those are going to be the king of the jungles there, just sitting in there, kind of got it to themselves. But I'm digging what you're saying.
yeah, I agree. I mean, it's very key pieces of structure, the very best of the best. That if you're a crappie, you would want to sit at. I think that's where a crappie would sit too.
Mhm.
Guys, just to go back to it. New Crappie Connection hoodies. I've got them. If you'd like to order one, get one. Especially guys coming in for MCC, I can keep them in my truck for you. But have them in this, I'm gonna say, sand camo,
I
light
like it.
color, dark camo, and it's a maroon, not a maroon, a blue marine chart pattern. Definitely available. $60 each, $10 shipping fees, pretty standard. And be glad for you guys to support and wear them. Summer hoodie. So, well, Dustin, I think it's about 8 o'clock, bro. I
It's
think we
about
got.
that time, partner. I sure appreciate you guys for tuning in tonight. Loved all the comments and really enjoyed you guys. We'll be
Uh,
seeing you, Lord willing, next Tuesday night.
we'll find out who's hit the head on. Let's do one thing real quick. I know we got 203 people still watching. Who can nail the exact 2 day total for next week's tournament? And then you can't come back here on Saturday afternoon and tell me. But if somebody can nail it on the dot, not
Hoodie.
not anything off, nail it on the actual dot of the weight, has to be posted in the comments no later than Thursday night. If you can nail it in the comments, Facebook or YouTube, you get a free hoodie.
There we go. Boom.
On
Dustin Shields,
Crappie
here's your
Connection.
shot, buddy.
On shot. Here's your shot to win something, Dustin. All right,
2642, guys. That's what it'll be.
642. You
Yeah.
got to put in the comments, Dustin, or you
Oh,
don't
I'm
get it.
going to. Don't worry. I'm putting it in the
The
comments.
dot.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
no, exactly on the dot. We'd love
Yeah.
to see that.
That'll
Will
be
next
fun one.
week's tournament be broadcasted? Check out Loco Outdoors. He's asking that. It will be on the Magnolia Crappie Club Facebook page. Sometimes they live stream it. I'm not sure. I'll see if I can get with some of those guys. Definitely would like whoever wins it next week to come on here and kind of tell us how they did it, how close we were off or on. We got some guesses coming up there already, but
Oh,
you got
yeah. It's coming in hot.
to nail the actual dead on weight of the 2 day total for the Magnolia Crappie Club tournament.
Lots of
I hope
guesses.
somebody. I hope
That would
somebody.
be
We
so
got.
cool. I do too. I hope someone gets it as well.
I got a lot of 26s. I guess people have been paying attention to the 13 pounds.
Yeah, that's right.
I seen the 32 though. Mr. Charles
Yeah,
Henderson.
Charles and
He
Bobby
made
Mann, they
it right
done
out.
lost their minds. They've lost their minds. But I hope he's right there though, because that'd be a heck of a bag of fish for this time of year.
It'll be interesting. 27.9. I can't wait to see who hits.
You can't wait to see who catches that.
Somebody's going. Somebody's going to get it. I'm sure.
Oh man, I don't know. That's hard to get it to the decimal. We'll
Now,
see.
what was you said? 26.42, right, Dustin?
Yeah, 2642.
Let me
Yeah, I'll lock that
let me
in.
let me
Um,
do mine real quick. Let me do my prediction real quick.
all right, I put it on there. That's gonna be on my wife's name there, but we'll get the hint. 2642.
I'll get my wife to comment mine.
All right, there we go.
Let me text her my comment on there. Let me see. I'm gonna tell her to comment on mine real quick. Give my
Bella's
comment.
not happy about it.
My wife's gonna comment for me, guys, if she's listening. Yeah, I
Oh,
see.
she's
20, I got some 25, 23. Now I think it'd be 23 over that, Eric. This is not the price of right rules either. This is you got to be dead on, dead on.
That's right. Man, yeah, I
27.
hope you're right with your 13 predicament, but I got a feeling 14's It's gonna be knocking. Somebody's gonna find 7 2-pounders a day. I got a weird feeling. We'll see though. I could be wrong. I ain't fished that but one time in my life, and here I am, just a pro out there.
I got my comments listed now.
Ooh, yours was a 14-pound stringer, big boy. You're telling everybody 13 a day, and then you want to sit there and say 27 13. What a butthole. My
What do you mean?
gosh. What a real butthole. Guys, he wasn't, if you're learning, he's so tight, he don't want to give a hoodie away, so he straight assaulted 13-pound stringers. Golly, man. Unbelievable, Brad. Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Everybody needs to start talking that 27 mark. Just listen to me.
Oh, it's great.
Oh,
Definitely
man.
appreciate
But
everybody
look,
joining this week. We
Friday's
cannot
got
wait.
some wind.
Somebody could win it. We're gonna find out.
Yeah. Yeah, not if Brad's in charge. That's a hoax deal. Scam.
Whatever.
You guys take her easy. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Holla.